What's up, Levi? We get another lesson. I was hoping you would have gotten a chance by now to take a look at the music that I've given you so far and just some of the techniques that we've explored and we've talked about folk music and we have talked about pop music. Before we go further in some other styles, I thought I would try to break down some more technique for you. The last lesson, I brought up Jimmy Eat World's The Middle, and the solo, specifically, how does he play it so fast? I hope you got a chance to take a look at that. If you haven't, well, there it is again. I am gonna actually put in a link to a pretty cool video that I found. I don't know much about the guy, but he has a really cool backing track for the solo with a rolling tab on his video. So you can look at the video, you can read the music, you can play along with the music, and YouTube has this really cool feature that not a lot of people know when they're learning songs. They can go to the little settings button on the video and click playback speed, and you can, whatever song you're learning, you can play it back at half speed or 3/4 speed or even faster if you really want to make your fingers fly. So we're gonna check out some cool techniques. So obviously we talked about hammering on and pulling off. And I think this is a really cool lick to practice hammering on and pulling off, but to get our fingers a little bit more stretched. Also, in that video that I'm gonna send a link to, I noticed the guy doesn't do it, but I promise you, if you stick to the like one finger per fret thing and you don't move your hands, don't be afraid to exercise that pinky. I know it sucks. I know it hurts sometimes. But you're gonna thank yourself later when you have the strongest pinky in guitar history. That shouldn't be a problem after a while. But to build that finger strength, because I know you probably don't have all of that finger strength yet, at least not to full speed, we've talked about spider walking. I would suggest using a metronome so you can hear click, 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 click. Or I also suggest using the scales that I've given you. So like play the major scale. Play that to a metronome. The reason why you should use a metronome is so you can gauge how fast you're actually going, and then you can push yourself like you're actually, working out your muscles. You a little bit more each time. Eventually you'll be like, oh man, I used to max out at 120 BPM. Now I max out at 150 BPM. This is 120 BPM. This is 150 BPM. And when you get comfortable with that, you can try skipping. So we have spider walking, using the metronome while we spider walk so that we know that we're getting faster and technically correct. There's using the scale, using the scales with the metronome, there's skipping. So while you're gaining speed, you're also gaining technical proficiency and knowing where to put your fingers, especially in context, like musical context. And then there is just finger strength, and for hammering on and pull-offs, you could just walk down the neck. Use that with the metronome. If you use that with the metronome, the goal would be to get all 4 notes in one click. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. At 150 BPM, we got which will be useful for you if you ever plan on heavy metal, or if you just want finger strength. You could do the opposite. You could hammer on. The goal is to hear all 4 notes specifically. And you can do that until your fingers are tired or they hate you for making them do this little exercise, but it's just to get your finger strength. Don't be afraid to do it on all the strings. The heavier strings will be heavier, harder to hammer on and pull off, especially since they're so far around the neck. You got to wrap your hand around it. Give that a shot and see if you get any closer to getting down that Jimmy Eat World lick, and we can talk about some other cool licks with some more music and more styles. But I'm also going to show you some other cool stuff today. So I never backtracked. I never got you your tab for Amazing Grace that I introduced in the folk lesson. I've got the tab here now, and I was going to show you how I play it fingerstyle. Now in the attachment that I'm going to send to your email, I've got the tab and the sheet music. I've got the tab and the staff written down. It's pretty much an embellishment of exactly what's in the hymn book. So, reading notes isn't scary, and I'm hoping that some of the cool notes and stuff and diagrams that I'm showing you has been sticking so that we can move forward, because there's so much to learn in the world of music, so much like more than just a couple licks that we don't understand why they sound cool. I want to show you why they sound cool and all the keys and stuff, but we gotta know some sheet music and some like theory and stuff to get to there. I own several FakeBooks, and a FakeBook like this is just for hymns. This is what they do is they'll show you the chord that the harmony is based off of, and then they'll show you the lead note. That's all they have to work with. That's all that they give you to work with. So that way you can make your own harmonies with what limited access they give you. And for that reason, they're super cool for beginners when they're just learning chords and melodies, because that's all they give you. They give you the chord and the melody, and you can kind of make up your own harmony as you go within the context. So, like this one hymn, In the Garden, the first chord, it has a C over it, so I know I'll make the C major shape, and all of the notes should be in, or I can reach them in the chord shape that it's given me. Man, I've even got one for just Disney songs, dude, and I don't know if you ever watched The Little Mermaid, but and I got all that because the only context I have is there's a C major above that G note. So I can play a C major chord. I can even embellish it by making a C major 7. Pretty cool. FakeBooks are what they're called. You should get on Amazon and see if, like, hey, Beatles fake book or Led Zeppelin fake book. I don't know if there are any, but I have a bunch of cool little. You get to playing guitar for a while. You build a collection of musical things that you like, and I feel like you understand that, so I don't have to explain that. What did we talk about? Okay, so we had the Jimmy Eat World solo. It's fast, so we should build up our finger strength. And I'm sorry if you don't like the lick. You gotta text me or something if you don't like anything. Just let me know. I promise it's cool. So we've got finger exercises to build our strength, and that was using a metronome. Using a metronome knows our helps us know our metric to get faster, to know our max, so that we can go past our max. And we've got the spider walking, we've got the scales, and we've got skipping on the scales for dexterity. We have the pull off and the hammer on, hoping to get every 4 note sounding clearly. So that's finger strength, dexterity, note accuracy, and we've got the tab for the fingerstyle. We didn't really talk about the fingerstyle. You'll notice when I am playing my hands, I'm trying my best. It's not like it's not a necessity, but if you keep your wrist over the guitar so that your wrist isn't resting on the strings, you'll have a lot more freedom. You won't at first because it'll feel really awkward and you want something to anchor your hand to, but in the long run it's so much better and healthier and eventually more comfortable. You'll have so much more dexterity if you can just hover your hand while you pluck these notes. And you'll notice that my thumb is only playing the bass notes, like the lower 2 strings. I want my other 4 fingers to play the high strings. to play the high 4 notes. Some people specifically say the pinky is for the last E string and the ring finger is for the 5th, and we don't need to get that specific yet. We might eventually if we end up liking this finger style, but I just want to give you the basics right now. Cool. So we got finger exercises, we got learn notes, we got Amazing Grace, we got it all. Let me know what you think, and we'll move on with probably some other styles next week. Thanks, Levi.